This is Top Accolade African News Updates. I am Soibifa Jakarich. Nigerian's President Bola Tinubu has ordered security forces not to pay ransom for the release of close to 300 students and staff who were kidnapped from a school in northwestern Kaduna state last week. Mr. Tinubu instead directed security agencies to ensure the release of all kidnapped victims without any payments to the kidnappers. The country's Information Minister Mohammed Idris told reporters on Wednesday. Earlier, relatives of those taken said gunmen had demanded hundreds of thousands of dollars for the release of the students adopted from their school in Kuriga village. There have been several mass kidnappings over the last week, including the seizure of on Tuesday night of more than 60 people from a village also in Kaduna state. Over the last 3 years, hundreds of students have been adopted. Some of the hostages have been released following negotiations with authorities, although officials deny ransom payments are made. A law passed in 2022 banned paying ransom to kidnappers. The surge of large-scale adoptions is challenging Mr. Tinubu's government, which had promised to tackle insecurity. South Africa has terminated a deal to sell a stake in its national airline after failing to agree on a value and other terms with a consortium of private investors. The government had since 2021 planned to sell 51% of the loss-making South African Airways (SAA) to the Takasto consortium as part of efforts to end the recurring bailout of the flag carrier. After 3 years of negotiations, Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan on Wednesday said the deal had been called off as there is no clear path forward. Mr. Gordhan cited the impact of the post-COVID-19 markets as a significant factor in the decision, leading to a revaluation of SAA's worth. In a statement, the Takasto consortium said the changes in the deal to buy SAA would have taken too long to achieve, as South African Airways will now revert to being fully state-owned, but the government said the airline was open to entering into other partnerships. The collapse of the deal is a blow to President Cyril Ramaphosa's efforts to sell off non-performing state entities and bring state debt under control. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has lifted all economic sanctions and imposed on neighboring Niger 8 months after a military coup there. He ordered the immediate opening of borders, the resumption of commercial flights, and the supply of electricity to Niger. Exports, including livestock and onions from Niger to Nigeria, have dwindled significantly. Imports-dependent Niger has suffered the lack of essential commodities, with border communities being the worst hit by those sanctions. Last month, the West African regional body, ECOWAS, agreed to lift economic sanctions against Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Guinea, which have all seen military takeovers in the last 2 years. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso had earlier announced they would withdraw from ECOWAS after the sanctions were imposed. Niger's ousted President Mohammed Bazoum has been detained by the military leaders in Niger since last July's coup. Authorities in Uganda's capital, Kampala, say the city is experiencing an outbreak of conjunctivitis, a highly contagious eye infection. The Kampala Capital City Authority, KCCA, says conjunctivitis cases have also been reported in schools in the city. It has asked schools to take preventative measures such as screening visitors, asking learners to stop rubbing their eyes, and urging them to frequently wash their hands with soap. Conjunctivitis often causes the eye to become red or pink. Other common symptoms include watery eyes, blurred vision, discomfort, itching, pain, and swelling of the conjunctiva. Uganda is the latest African country to record cases of the disease this year. An outbreak of viral conjunctivitis was reported in Tanzania in mid-January, and over 5,000 cases have been recorded across more than 17 regions. Kenya, Malawi, Mozambique, Comoros, Madagascar, and Mayotte have also recorded cases, while Rwanda issued an alert last month. With good hygiene and avoiding contact with infected people, the infection tends to heal on its own. That is the size of Top Accolade African News Updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy Thursday.